All right, Hayden. So I'm going to show you a little bit about Google Classroom today. So today, if you look, this is what your list should look like. And you see that you have your due dates. This is great to see what I'm grading, but it's not going to give you the material and instruction for class every day. So you need to go up here to where it says Classwork. Click on that. You scroll down to the day's date. So like today is Wednesday, October 21st. You can say you have your nonfiction narrative material turn in, your exit ticket for the day, material and instruction, your test for a CSA, your material, which is a library book suggestion, and then your test your knowledge poetry collection cold read, which is due for homework. Now, Monday and Tuesday, you had narrative instruction. If you look where it says material, your material never has a due date because this is where all of your instruction comes from. So if I click on that, it tells you what we're doing in class that day, like journal, dialogue, ed puzzle, review, narrative, nonfiction prompt, review, narrative, nonfiction rubric, and we're going to write. Then it says homework. If not finished in class, read AR, narratives will be due Wednesday, complete your Unit 1 poetry collection cold read, CSA, and then bonus assignment. And then I have a slides presentation for you. When you click on the slides presentation, this will pop up and you can see what we have to do today. Now, the first thing is for the students when they come in, you can skip slide 1. Slide 2 will always be, again, what is required of you that day. So these are your goals for the day to complete. Again, journal, dialogue, ed puzzle, review your narrative nonfiction prompt, write your review narrative nonfiction, and rubric. Have our learning objectives for the day, which you can skip this slide as well, and a book recommendation of the day. So if you like to read, I always have a book recommendation for you. Here's your journal prompt. It will always be on slide number 5. And so this one says Journal 38, October 17th, 2020. And you have a choice. It tells you that you are going to either write a story of the main character or receives a mysterious letter in the mail and tell me what it says, or write a story where the main character gets locked in a grocery store every night. Next thing you have is your ed puzzle. It tells you go to Google Classroom, click on Test Your Knowledge Dialogue Ed Puzzle, listen to the ed puzzle, and answer all the questions along the way. Then we have our essential question. This is the question that guides you throughout your unit. This was on every PowerPoint slide or a slideshow presentation for Unit 1. Then we have Mondays, everything that we're doing. So you have Unit 1, Generations Performance-Based Task. Performance-based task is your narrative. It says Nonfiction Narrative Ed Puzzle, because we've already done that. Review your nonfiction narrative prompt. See where it says click here for a copy? If you hover over this with your mouse, this pops up and you're going to click on it. When you click on that, it's going to force you to make a copy. So you say make a copy, and it will automatically save it to your Google Drive for My Classroom. So this is your nonfiction narrative writing prompt. It literally says, write a nonfiction narrative, which is a personal narrative, describing the influence someone from a different generation has had on you or someone you know. In your narrative, connect or draw a parallel between events from the text read in class and the personal experiences of your nonfiction narrative. Show how an unexpected event can influence the actions, decisions, and lives of people from other generations. In a nutshell, you're writing a story about how you learned a lesson from someone from a different generation. It could be a coach, a parent, a grandparent, an aunt or uncle, an older cousin. It could be anyone that you have learned a lesson from. That lesson can be something like how to brush your teeth or how to drive a car or a boat. It could also be something a little bit more detailed, like how to save money or how to have a good work ethic. If you look, it says things to remember. This is a personal experience, not something made up. This has already happened, so it has to be past tense, which means your verbs are going to end in ed or be irregular, like flung. You provide the reader with a description and details. Dialogue is necessary to drive your plot. That's when people speak to each other. Make sure your voice is consistent. So this is your vocabulary, your tone, your point of view, your syntax. Your phrases, your sentences, and your paragraphs, all of that has to be similar. So you're not going to start out with very big vocabulary words like discombobulated or conundrum and then go to something like problem or confused. Then you're going to go with tone. Tone is going to be, is it happy? Is it sad? It's going to stay the same throughout unless there's a change in emotion. Point of view will always be first person for a nonfiction narrative because you are telling a story about your life. And syntax is going to be dialect. So remember, down here in the South, we use words like y'all. So if the person that you're writing about is from the South, you might have words like y'all or fixin' in your story. If you're writing about someone from the North, you might have a little bit different. If you think back to Mother to Son, the piece of poetry, she's meant to be an older African American woman. So she uses things like Isa. It says, don't give away the point you are trying to make at the beginning, build up to it. So you're not going to say, in this story, I'm going to tell you about. Use poetic language rather than dry statements. So what not to do is not to say, it was a hot summer day and the football practice was exhausting. That's very dry and to the point. We want to make sure that you're very poetic with what you write. The sweltering heat made everyone miserable as we repeatedly ran laps and hit the blocking sled down the field. Our royal blue practice jerseys dripped with sweat and smelled worse than the wolf exhibit at the zoo. Here we give a lot of detail. Sweltering means it's so hot you feel like you're melting. Everybody was miserable. If they're miserable, you can see just the anguish on their face, how they're not wanting to be there. They're repeatedly running laps, so people going round and round the field and hitting the blocking sled, so hitting over and over and over. Have the color of the practice jerseys as well as what they did. They're dripping with sweat, so they're sweat soaked, and they are stinking. They're smelling worse than an exhibit at the zoo. Then I put, make us care about the person or persons you're writing about. Give us background information on the characters. Help us understand the characters' motives, why they're teaching you this lesson. Is it because they love you? Is it because they're tired of you not brushing your teeth by yourself? Why are they teaching you this lesson? And then let us know why he or she is important to you, the narrator. Why is this person important to your life? All right, last is bait your audience. Grab their attention at the beginning. Again, that's not saying, in this story I'm going to tell you about, you might start off with something like, growing up, I always looked up to my mom. Or growing up, I never really understood. And then you're going to put information about what you're writing about without telling me exactly what the life lesson is. Then say it as simple as possible, but make sure you get your point across. And you have 12-point font, Times New Roman font, and double spaced. So this was all from Monday. If you go back to Monday's slide, you then have click here for a copy of your narrative rubric. So again, if I hold my cursor over it, I click on personal narrative, rubric. Oh, I don't know why that one's not working. I'll have to fix that one. Sorry, guys. And then you have a video explanation. So this is going to be a YouTube link to me reading your rubric aloud to you and explaining what you're going to be graded on.
Hey guys, today we're going to go over our narrative writing rubric. So these are going to be your requirements for your nonfiction narrative.
All right, so that'll help you better understand the rubric and what you're going to be graded on. Then we have how to set up your paper. Here's another video link.
Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about how to set up your paper. So when you go to a Google Doc, I want you to start off.
All right, so you can see there I teach you how to set up your paper and how to use Grounded, your launch text, to help you. From there, the next thing we have is there are a review a sensory language video. Again, this is a YouTube video that's going to help you better understand how to use sensory writing in your story.
Hey guys, welcome to this Metrics video on sensory language. So, I just came back from a trip and I want to tell you all about it. So there was a tree, then we went fishing, we saw a bear, we had a fire. It was awesome. Well, I guess I didn't really give you guys enough detail. Let me try again.
So this one you can see she talks about how to add detail to your story to help your writing make it better and to help you reach that 500 word minimum. Then I have the video links to 2 different songs. Here's one, Coat of Many Colors by Dolly Parton, and the other one's Drive by Alan Jackson. Both of those videos are going to teach you or give you examples of how an artist uses song to teach them a lesson. And then the last thing you have is your daily or your book of the month. So every month you will be required to do a flip grid on your book of the month. All right, so if we're done with Monday and we go down and we look at Tuesdays. On Tuesday, we're going to have this, our practice unit CSA review. We have our material and instruction for Tuesday's agenda and our practice study link. If you go again to material and instruction, you will see it says journal, review narrative prompt, review rubric, write. And then we have read AR, narratives will be due Wednesday, complete your Unit 1 poetry collection, CSA for Unit 1, and bonus assignment. When I click on this, again, I'm going to get a PowerPoint presentation. Notice it's a different color. I color code them each day. Again, you can skip one. Slide 2 is going to be journal, review your prompt, review your rubric, and write. And then it tells you what to do in class. We have our objectives for the day. I have my book suggestion of the day. And then you have your journal prompt. Again, this one gives you a choice. What would your pet say to you and what would you say back if your pet could talk? Or if you started a restaurant, what would it be on the menu and how would you describe those foods? Normally we would have grammar after this, but we're not doing grammar this week because we want to spend as much time on writing as possible. So then we go back to our reviewing our essential question. And then once again, we have all of these documents. So click here for a copy of your prompt, your rubric, a video explanation. Click here for the video link. Click here for a video on how to review sensory language, and then your 2 songs. So it's all the same things. And then here, again, we're going to have our book of the month. So this is going to give you a little bit better idea of how to navigate Google Classroom for me. I hope this helps, and please let me know if you need anything else.